So I'm going through my anime hat collection and I'm like, yo, I never wear hats anymore. And I put this one on and I'm like, I don't look like myself. Okay, people, so today we have something very interesting. A lot of people hit me up saying, yo, Fornev, this is an interview that was conducted between the creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, and the creator of My Hero Academia, Kohei Horikoshi. I want to say it was like somewhere in 2015 that this interview was conducted, but for whatever reason, it was never translated. And a lot of people hit me up like, yo, there's a translation, you really need to check this out, there's some very interesting stuff in there. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna be reading this. And by the way, let me know what you think, hat or no hat. I don't know. I think we're gonna be capping it off today. Yeah.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
That's right, people. Today we have an interview from the creators of Naruto and My Hero Academia, and in this one, it's pretty interesting because this was early on in My Hero Academia's inception. This was, I want to say, following the ending of Naruto, because if this was like in 2015, Naruto ended, I want to say it was like November of 2014. So this is like a year out after Naruto ended. And one of the interesting things about it is that they addressed certain elements and certain conversations that have been had, especially at that point that was going rampant regarding My Hero Academia seemingly coming across as a copy, as a ripoff of Naruto. And that's a very interesting conversation to have both the creators' helmets. So let's read it. It's a lengthy one, but we're gonna read it and we'll talk. But yeah, I'm interested. Kishimoto remembers Horikoshi's one-shot Nukegara entered for the Tezuka Award and remembers he pushed for it to win. It was a story where the main character becomes a weapon, and seeing Horikoshi's art, he felt they might have similar style interests. Hearing that, Horikoshi responds that in the Naruto volume extras, there's a corner where Kishimoto noted he was influenced by Akira. Horikoshi loved Naruto, so he decided to check out the Akira anime and then got into the manga, so he was influenced by it too. Kishimoto jokes that when you read Akira, your art becomes like Akira too. Horikoshi notes that he doesn't know how many times he read through Naruto growing up. Kishimoto jokes that Horikoshi was probably the type who stayed inside drawing instead of playing outside, and Horikoshi admits that's true. That's yo, Horikoshi getting joked on, Kishimoto cracking jokes like, oh yeah, you were a shut-in, weren't you? Like, damn, Kishi, like, yo, relax. Horikoshi shares that when he changed schools, he was having a hard time making new friends. I can relate. Until one day he was drawing Naruto and some of his classmates came over like, oh hey, Naruto, and then he was able to make friends. Kishimoto says he's really happy to hear that. That's dope. Naruto basically helped him in a real world way. That's awesome. Kishimoto remembers that when Naruto ended, Horikoshi's author note was like, Naruto was my childhood, and asked him to expand on that. Horikoshi says he read it weekly with his friends growing up. Horikoshi says he got really into Naruto with the mission where they fight the demon brothers from Kirigakure. Horikoshi thought the gas mask look was super cool, and Kishimoto is surprised that of all things, that's what got him into Naruto. That does sound mad fucking random. Is he talking about Kinkaku and Ginkaku? I feel like he is. Horikoshi explains that he liked the design of the demon brothers, but he also liked how the story was handled. It was supposed to be an easy mission, but then those two came out and Kakashi is in trouble. Or wait a minute, demon brothers from Kirigakure. Who the fuck are they talking about? Zabuza and Haku? I'm a little bit confused, to be honest with you. Horikoshi says with the demon brothers fight, you see the difference between Naruto and Sasuke, as one of them springs into action while the other is too scared to move. Horikoshi notes the demon brothers fought with their hands. Sasuke fights with a kunai in his hands, and Naruto stabs himself in the hand. After staring at those weird scenes a lot, he says he started to notice Kishimoto does hands differently and shows emotion through them. Kishimoto comments that Horikoshi said he likes drawing hands too, and Horikoshi says he loves drawing hands thanks to Naruto, so even on panels zoomed in on a face, he adds hands sometimes, even though they aren't needed. The reference volume 2 Shigaraki page. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you think about it, Shigaraki is all hands, so you could thank Kishimoto for Horikoshi drawing all those freaking hands. Horikoshi says he thinks hands are the second place where you see emotions best, first being the face, and Kishimoto agrees. Kishimoto says if you keep staring at hands, they're cool. It's like, God is amazing for making this, but Horikoshi says he's not on that level yet. When asked what he enjoyed most in Naruto after getting sucked in through the Demon Brothers, Horikoshi says the Chunin exams were awesome. Yeah, I love me some Chunin exams. He noted his favorite character is Gaara, and how as a middle schooler, you often like characters based on how strong strong they are. Kishimoto notes that he purposely made Gaara really strong. He wanted him to seem scary to fight, which he was. I ain't gonna lie, I was like, yo, how the fuck they gonna take this kid out? He then notes there's a scary student in My Hero Academia too, half ice and half fire. Horikoshi is like, that's Shoto Todoroki. Yeah, at the time he came across as like kind of mean. You don't really want to talk to this dude. He seems like an asshole. So yeah, at that point, yeah, he was a little bit of a mean guy. Kishimoto says Horikoshi did a good job with the backstory for Todoroki with his parents and can tell that character will grow in the future. He says it's important to be able to write like that in a weekly magazine. Horikoshi asked Kishimoto if there was characters that he decided to expand upon after he decided writing them, and Kishimoto says Lee. He notes that he hadn't thought about him that much, except for that he'd be a character that couldn't use ninjutsu, but the character grew from there. Yeah, Rock Lee took on a life of his own in terms of fandom and shit. Like, you could tell in the beginning that Kishimoto wasn't that gung-ho about like making like Rock Lee for the win, and because people love that hard work and all of that jazz, like Rock Lee again gained his own fandom. Like, hard work really fucking pays off. Kishimoto then asked Horikoshi if he's told not to expand on side characters by editors and such, since the main characters needed to be the focus. Horikoshi says he's kind of have been told that, and Kishimoto notes the readers want the main character at the end of the day. And that is something that's very, very interesting, because one of the complaints that a lot of people had with Naruto was the fact that it always focused in on Naruto and Sasuke, and especially later on, the, Konoha 11, Rookie 9, all of them kind of just got, like, left in the dust. Like, people didn't really care about them. And in My Hero Academia, I feel as though Horikoshi doesn't do that. Now, we get so much of, class 1A and, just a lot of the characters that I feel as though he does a better job than what Kishimoto did. But at the same time, you got to look at, like, we really love Naruto for a reason, and that's because there was so much emphasis and spotlight on Naruto and Sasuke. But then Kishimoto jokes that he's been told his series should have been called Sasuke instead of Naruto, so he isn't in a position to comment about main characters. Yeah, I remember those jokes. Kishimoto notes that when he read the second chapter of My Hero Academia, he knew it would continue. He says he liked the second chapter better than the first, since you can really see Midoriya's personality, and you want to cheer for him. Kishimoto specifically notes he likes the line Midoriya has in chapter 2, saying he feels like he's cheated getting help from All Might. Horikoshi says him and the editor debated about that line, but he's glad they went with what they did. Kishimoto goes on to praise Horikoshi, saying he's good at showing Midoriya's personality, he's good at drawing expressions, has good memorable lines, good battles, good gag sense, etc. Of course is a hit, Kishimoto says, so giving him props, dope. Horikoshi just replies, my mind has gone totally blank, overwhelmed by the praise from Kishimoto. Like, yeah, imagine one of your childhood heroes or something like that is praising you for the work that you're doing right now. Like, I remember when I met a rapper, and at the time I was doing my music, and one of the tracks I played at the end, he went, woo! That meant everything to me. Fuck what anybody said about my music. Like, that right there, somebody that inspired me musically to be able to impress him and shit like that. I know that feeling, so I can imagine what he was feeling during that interview. That's great feeling. Kishimoto replies that he thinks the best thing about My Hero Academia is he can tell Horikoshi is making it as interesting as possible at all times without regrets or worry for the future. Kishimoto notes that with superpower school stories, normally just the main character has powers at the beginning, and then as the story goes on, we slowly meet other characters with powers. So when My Hero Academia said 80% of people had powers from the start, he was like, wow, he's going for it. Horikoshi notes he thought it would be more interesting that way. Kishimoto says even if he had thought of the story, he wouldn't have written it because it's a lot of work, which, yeah, I can imagine all those freaking characters. Kishimoto notes he likes how the powers of the characters are connected to their personalities. When he saw the first big stage of all the classmates in costume, he worried, is he gonna be okay bringing this many characters into a weekly manga? Yeah, I'm imagining that shit as hell. I mean, just recently he had to go on break because it was like what's going on in the world, but also it was affecting, his schedule. In response to that, Horikoshi jokes, I cry while drawing, and Kishimoto says Horikoshi reminds him of his old self. Horikoshi asks Kishimoto if he started writing Naruto without the future of the series planned. Kishimoto says yes. When it started, he only had up until about chapter 8 planned. Horikoshi notes, what about the Sharingan? And Kishimoto says he came up with that later. That's interesting. Like, we gave Fairy Tail creator a lot of hell for that shit that he didn't have it all planned out, but Kishimoto didn't either. Thankfully, for the most part it worked out, but yeah, that's interesting. But how the hell is he gonna have all of this shit planned out from the 700 chapters worth? There was just no way. Horikoshi is amazed, and Kishimoto explains he knew he wanted to have a character with eye powers, but was worried if he gave one character eye powers, it would be hard to give similar powers to other characters without them overlapping. So Kishimoto wanted to put off using eye powers until later in the series, but since it's a weekly manga, you never know when you might get cancelled, so you have to just do everything you can without regrets. Kishimoto then questions if Horikoshi is okay okay on that front, having already used eye powers in Volume 2 with Aizawa. Horikoshi says he doesn't know and just uses whatever he comes up with at the time without thinking too much about the future. Kishimoto comments Horikoshi's character designs go above and beyond a normal weekly manga with their details, and he's worried about Horikoshi's health. He notes he's meeting him for the first time in a while for this interview, and he looks skinny like All Might. Ooh, that's not good at all, to be honest with you. Horikoshi says he looks like that because he was so nervous about having an interview with Kishimoto he couldn't sleep the night before. Kishimoto assures him he has nothing to be nervous about. Yeah, I think he was just saving face right there. I don't know, that's worrisome. The interviewer asked what Horikoshi thought of Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry, and Horikoshi says it was frustrating. Horikoshi says he really liked the Valley of the End and thought that would be the end of the series. Kishimoto knows a lot of readers thought Naruto and Sasuke would make up after the Valley of the End and go back to the village together, but he made them fight. Horikoshi continues that all the misunderstandings during the second part were frustrating to watch, and when it came together in the final fight, he almost felt like a parent watching these characters he had grown up with, and he was rooting for them both. Kishimoto says he's happy to hear that. He wanted people to be able to understand Naruto and Sasuke's feelings. Horikoshi notes it was really emotional, built up over 15 years. Boy, just thinking about it gets me. I'm not gonna lie, I got hairs on my arms standing up right now. Kishimoto notes he likes Bakugo as a rival and found it funny now he's an ally, almost like a villain, telling the main character die. He thinks Horikoshi did a good job since you don't know if Bakugo will stay an ally or become an enemy. Horikoshi notes Bakugo is horrible but thought it would be more interesting that way. He says he wanted him to be like Vegeta from Dragon Ball but doesn't know how it'll play out from there. Kishimoto says he thinks it'll be interesting. Horikoshi notes he's been influenced by Naruto when it comes to camera work for panels, and Kishimoto says he can tell Horikoshi really has a clear vision of the lens, going from wide shots to close-ups. Kishimoto notes the indoor hallway battle trial arc must have been hard. Horikoshi shares that for the battle trial arc, he actually specifically looked at Naruto to see how Kishimoto would have done it. The magazine compares Naruto Volume 17's tunnel scene with Jiraiya, and the My Hero Academia, hallway scene with Midoriya, Bakugo, and Uraraka. That's the first trial where Deku actually beat Bakugo, and Naruto Volume 17, that's when Jiraiya, I think he brought in Itachi and them inside the Toad's mouth and shit like that. The interviewer asked Horikoshi how he thinks Naruto has influenced him, and he says he's not consciously aware of anything and tries not to think about it, but he's had readers make comparisons and seen people online saying My Hero Academia is a ripoff of Naruto. We're getting into the tea. The tea is being spilled right here. Hearing this, Kishimoto tells Horikoshi not to worry at all about comments like My Hero Academia is a ripoff of Naruto. Kishimoto notes that any superpower story will have some similarities. Horikoshi says that talking with Kishimoto, he's realized that he gave eye powers to Aizawa Sensei, just like Kakashi Sensei had eye powers. You just now realized that, fam? Okay. I don't know about that one. But he had truly never made a connection there before. Maybe having grown up with Naruto is just part of him. Kishimoto says that the things you read just come out in your work, like he's realizing now he drew Naruto as a kid, then young adult, then married with a kid, and that's part of what he liked about Dragon Ball, but he never meant to imitate it. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, all jokes aside, like, you are influenced by a lot of shit that you've read, that you've seen, that you've experienced in your work. It's just how the brain works, I guess, or whatever. So it would make sense, like, maybe sometimes you don't realize it, or maybe he didn't realize it at the time, and then I don't know about it in this interview, but at some given point, yeah, he probably realized, like, oh shit, Aizawa has eye powers like Kakashi. But yeah, I don't know, it's not a big deal. There's plenty of eye power characters. They're gonna overlap, like they said. The interviewer says they feel like there's been some manga DNA passed down from Kishimoto to Horikoshi. Kishimoto says that My Hero Academia started to really get popular right around the time Naruto ended, so he feels like it's his successor. Horikoshi says it doesn't feel real to him. Kishimoto says an anime is sure to come, and then Horikoshi will have even more work. Kishimoto knows he thinks My Hero Academia will be popular internationally, and feels like what made Naruto popular overseas is in My Hero Academia too. He says the only thing he's worried about is Horikoshi's health. Yeah, at the time, this sounds like Horikoshi wasn't looking too good. Horikoshi assures Kishimoto that his body is pretty strong. He's just worried about his mental health. Kishimoto says him and Oda were just talking about how mangaka are always in a bad mental state, always on the edge, feeling scared of the pressure to make something popular. Kishimoto recalls a time nervously sweating so much he could squeeze his shirt and sweat would come out, and he notes he probably shouldn't talk about that, but Horikoshi is like, no, I want to hear about that. Were you writing a name draft? Kishimoto recalls how he'd be working on a draft and it'd be like 1 a.m. and he'd just work a little more and suddenly it'd be 3 a.m. Horikoshi agrees that happens all the time. Yeah, I don't even know. That's probably why when Kishimoto did try to come back with Samurai 8, he had got somebody else doing the art because this sounds like fucking hell. This sounds like absolute hell. Kishimoto remembers kicking a bookshelf, wondering if he'd get time off if he hurt his foot, but he didn't want to hurt his hand. Horikoshi says he's relieved hearing they're all the same. Kishimoto wonders if you have to be like that to make something good. Naruto starts lonely at the bottom and slowly moves up in the world, trying to get people to acknowledge him, and Horikoshi tells Kishimoto he saw somewhere that Naruto's feelings were the same as Kishimoto's. Kishimoto says that's true. No one believed he could be a mangaka. Horikoshi says over time, Naruto became popular and everybody loved it. Just as Naruto grew in the story, Horikoshi says he's writing My Hero Academia with Midoriya's feelings now, but he's worried if he'll be able to stay on the same passion level as Midoriya as the story continues. Kishimoto notes that although Naruto is acknowledged by more and more people around him as the story progresses, he's still not acknowledged by Sasuke, and Kishimoto himself always wanted to please his first editor, always wanted to make something he'd approve of. That is interesting. Editors, the relationship of an editor and a writer is something else. Horikoshi jokes that Kishimoto's first editor is like Sasuke to Naruto, and Kishimoto agrees. Kishimoto says you'd always be motivated to try and make a better manga, never satisfied with what others say about it. Horikoshi thanks him for the advice. Kishimoto tells Horikoshi he hopes My Hero Academia continues for longer than Naruto, to which Horikoshi replies, LOL. Kishimoto says he thinks My Hero Academia is off to a good start and that it will last a while. He tells Horikoshi he hopes he keeps going at full throttle and stays scared. Horikoshi says that with his last manga, Sensei no Boge, if I'm not mistaken, aka Barrage, he didn't really want to stand on equal ground with One Piece or Naruto and fight against them, but when he started My Hero Academia, he did. He wonders if maybe that's why it went well. Kishimoto said that's an important feeling and tells Horikoshi he shouldn't want to write manga like One Piece or Naruto. He should want to beat them. He says One Piece is a big wall to beat, but he's gonna tell Oda about Horikoshi. Horikoshi jokes Kishimoto as being scary and like I said, this was from the middle of 2015 and hadn't been translated until recently. And boy, that was an interview and a half, but a couple of things to note from there. For starters, Kishimoto told Horikoshi to beat One Piece. I don't know. I mean, I go lie. My Hero Academia is very popular, but the only series in recent memory right now that has come close so far, or whatever you want to call it, is Demon Slayer. My Hero Academia is amazing, and in the West is so freaking popular. Like, I could find My Hero Academia merch every freaking store that I go to almost, but I don't know about, you know, sales-wise, manga-wise, if it'll be able to surpass it, but you never know, you know. There's rumors of a time skip coming soon, so it's going to be interesting to see. Also, you know, they talked about My Hero Academia being a rip-off of Naruto, which, you know, Black Clover and My Hero faced that a lot, especially early on, of being called a rip-off of Naruto, this, that, and the third. And it's interesting to hear Kishimoto say basically like, yeah, you know, in other words, the nerds is just talking bullshit, ignore them. Like, very, very interesting interview I wanted to bring to you guys because a lot of people were telling me about it, and a lot of insight in there. Honestly, it just always makes me worry about, like, you know, the amount of times Kishimoto says about Horikoshi's health and, you know, shit that he would kick his foot, trying to hurt his foot so that he could get time off, is sad. Like, I would never, not in the way that they work in Japan, especially for like Shonen Jump. I could never do it. I would never want to do it. I would never try to do it. I'd rather self-publish. I'd rather create my own publishing company. I'd rather work with an indie publisher. I'd rather do anything but live like that. That is not living. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's sad that they go through that for our entertainment. And your overall thoughts of all of this, like, amazing interview. I love seeing it. I love when the creators of some of my favorite series get together and talk, and yeah, Kishimoto and Horikoshi, crazy shit. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. Again, hat or no hat, I don't know.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace.